This is Nick Wright with Managing Editor Zachary Fillingham of Geopoliticalmonitor.com. And Zach, we're here today to talk about Thailand's upcoming election. So tell us about that. When is it? What is it? And why is it important?
Okay, so Thailand will be holding its first election since the 2014 coup, the military launch coup, this year. And it's been a long time coming. Basically, these elections have been postponed several times. Most recently surrounding the death of King Bhumibol and the expected coronation of his son, King Maha Vajiralongkorn. Sorry, I definitely said that wrong. So basically, it's an interesting and important election because obviously this will be the second sort of reboot of democracy in the last decade or so. There have been two military-directed coups in recent history, and as we know now the specifics of the constitution that has been drafted up by the military and their National Council for Peace and Order, which has been ruling the country since 2014. And basically, approaching these elections, the interesting thing will be how the Thai public responds to this new political paradigm and the short-term future of military influence in Thai politics. So just to be a bit specific about it, this constitution, this political framework that will be tested for the first time this year, right now the date is March 24th, but as we know, this date can change, and it has changed in the past. Although this date has received royal assent, so it's likely going to happen at the end of March, the election. So this new...
And Zach, what would likely be the role of the military and the monarchy in the elections? Will it be representative of a transfer of power, or will ultimately those two groups still control the country?
Well, basically, there's a line in the Outlook article on the website from one of the chiefs of staff of the Thai military that basically says, okay, this time, this is the last coup, we promise. And if that's going to be the case, if 2014 is actually the last coup, it's because this constitution sort of institutionalizes military power within the Thai political system for the foreseeable future. It divides Congress into two levels, the lower house and the upper house. Lower house has 500 seats with, I believe, 350 of them are based on constituency and the remaining 150 are based on a party list. So it's sort of a hybrid form of proportional representation. And there's also an upper house, which is directly appointed by the National Council for Peace and Order, the NCPO, which is the military organization set up to run the country post-2014. So right there, you see that the institution of military control over Thai politics will continue to exist. Not only that, it will be appointing the Senate. And although so basically these parties in the lower house, they submit a list of 3 candidates for the prime minister, and then the combined houses, the lower and the upper house being the military appointed section, will come together to vote for a prime minister. And that vote will require a majority between the two houses. So basically, the numbers don't add up so that military have direct control, but they have enough control where it is hard to imagine a scenario where they couldn't create a situation where they're getting, if not the candidate they want, then definitely the candidate that they can stomach.
And what impact does this election and this change for the country have geopolitically on foreign affairs, on its neighbors, and for the region?
Well, I think that Thai politics and sort of the drama of Thai democracy, it definitely plays into geopolitics in the form of the wider triangular relationship of Thailand, the United States, and China. As we know, Thailand and U.S. relations, they go back a long time. Thailand is considered one of America's oldest allies in Asia. The United States has generally extended military and developmental support to Thailand. And their annual Cobra Gold military exercises are among the biggest in Southeast Asia between the U.S. and any ally. So basically, historically speaking, there's been a close relationship between the United States and Thailand. And as we know, the political dynamics of U.S. allies sometimes play into that relationship. And we saw that in 2014. Following the military coup, the Obama administration scaled back temporarily, but it was highly symbolic. They scaled back military and developmental assistance to Thailand. They put it on hold. And I think that this negatively impacted U.S.-Thai relations. And obviously, over the short term, it was not appreciated by the military leadership at the time. And another thing is the Trans-Pacific. Thailand was a member of the doomed Trans-Pacific Partnership. Well, temporarily doomed Trans-Pacific Partnership. And so basically, the TPP was meant to shore up the long-term economic bonds between the United States and Thailand. And as we all know, that was scrapped at the very beginning of the Trump administration. So now those economic ties are kind of floating in space. Now, where U.S.-Thai relations have been on the downturn, the opposite has been true of Bangkok's relations with China. Now, the trade relationship between China and Thailand has been blowing up over the last couple of years. In 2017, bilateral trade was around $73 billion, and the two countries have recently signed an agreement that intends to double that by 2021. It's a pretty ambitious goal, but it's significant in that it sort of illustrates the optimism of future trade relations. And there's been a lot of forward momentum on some key economic projects in the Thai-Chinese bilateral space. Basically, I think the biggest one is the railway, the Thai-China railway that's linking, I believe, Yunnan province with down the east coast of Thailand. I'm not sure. Yeah, basically, and another key development over the last couple of years is that Thailand bought 3 submarines from China at a price tag of around $1 billion. So that basically, as Thai-U.S. relations have suffered, Thai-China relations have really flourished over the last 5 years or so. So to bring it back to the election, looking forward from here, it's an interesting question. Basically, the future of Thai democracy. Obviously, Chinese foreign policy doesn't really stress any domestic political considerations. The Chinese government doesn't care if you're a democratic government, authoritarian government, whatever. And obviously, that has been a central plank of U.S. foreign policy in the past. So now that the Thai rulers, the current military rulers of Thailand, they no longer feel this sort of human rights based pressure from the United States and the West in a wider sense. So will they be more emboldened to promote something like a hybrid system that's has the appearance of democratic institutions, but in actuality is authoritarian? So we'll see how the public accepts the new system, and we'll see if politics starts to go in a direction that the NCPO doesn't like, whether the military rulers try to step in once again.
And has this development had any economic impacts? Is there more interest in investment? Is the economy doing better with the possibility of a more stable future?
I think that the Thai economy has actually been pretty resilient over the last 4 years or so. The coup hasn't had any major detrimental impact. As I said before, Chinese economic engagement's kind of on autopilot, irregardless of domestic political considerations, instability aside. And the Chinese investors have definitely not blinked at these developments. On the other hand, the U.S. is not a major foreign investor in Thailand. The biggest foreign investors in Thailand are actually Japan, which over the course of January to June 2018 invested around 22 million baht in the country. Second on that list over the same period was Malaysia. And actually, surprisingly enough, China was fifth on the list. So the coup itself has not had a serious detrimental impact on the Thai economy. And looking forward to the election, if things continue, if the process goes off smoothly and the military authorities get the candidate that's acceptable to them and there's no serious instability, then I think that the Thai economy will continue to cruise at its present pace. Actually, one more thing I want to add too is that another element of the institutionalization of military power is that whatever the new government is, it is actually committed to a 20-year policy plan that has been drafted by the NCPO. So basically, they're saying you can have your elections, but you need to implement our policies either way.
And in terms of who will win the election, is there much difference between the different political parties vying for power, or is it fairly consistent? What's the political situation like?
It's hard to say at this point because the system is so dramatically new that it's nearly impossible to predict how it's going to play out. The system was also designed to break the back of mass populist movements, primarily the populist movement of the Shinawatra clan, Thaksin and his sister, Ingluk, who have both been deposed in separate military coups. Their party, their latest party, Phu Thai, no one really knows how that party is going to do. But if the system works as intended, so far as the military leadership is concerned, then we're going to see a sort of a more patchwork of smaller and mid-sized parties, as opposed to these sweeping, huge parties that have challenged the establishment in the past. Obviously, another interesting situation to keep an eye on in Thai politics over the near future is there are basically deep divisions in Thai society. These divisions were evident in the populist movements of the past under the Thaksin clan, and they basically pit the rural, poorer population against the sort of urban royalist military bloc. And I mean, this is a huge oversimplification for the purposes of this podcast, but all of these major political clashes in the past have sort of boiled down to this fundamental cleavage in Thai society. And most of the coups, like the sort of ebb and flow of coups and resumptions of democracy and the sort of resumption of stability in Thai society that we've seen over the last couple decades, it's all been oiled by a consensus in Thai society. So this sort of consensus love of the royal family, and particularly the figure of King Bhumibol, who has recently passed away. So you have this figure in the previous king who, even if you weren't an ardent royalist, even if you were sort of had Republican leanings, you still loved the king. You still loved him as a person because he was he was just a very wonderful individual, and he had been with Thailand for so long that he almost felt like a part of the family for most Thai people. So he unfortunately has passed away, and he has been replaced by his son, who definitely does not enjoy the kind of adoration that his father had. So when the military has taken over in the past, they usually leaned on the royal power to legitimate the move. The royal power would give their sort of royal assent to the takeover, and then that would help to smooth over, any concerns that large swaths of the public might have. Now that this popular figure is gone, there's a little bit of a question mark as to if Thai politics hits the similar kind of instabilities and mass upheavals that it has in the past, what will happen. The military will not have that kind of uh, the same options it had in the past to sort of join together with the royalists and take over. So that's one thing to watch.
And Zach, what impact, if any, will or has the instability had to date, and will increased stability moving forward have on Thailand's neighbors?
Sorry, say that one more time.
What impact will potential increased stability in Thailand have on its neighbors? Is it setting an example for others? Will
I think
this have any
I
impact?
think that the fate of Thailand's new political system will definitely have an impact. There is a bit of a wider sort of conflict between Western liberal political ethos and the more hybrid type authoritarian regimes we're seeing pop up around the world. So basically, anywhere where you have a situation like that, I think other countries are looking to how successful it is, whether there are any repercussions from in terms of investment or environment or in economic activity from the West. And I think that those consequences are definitely ebbing. So whereas countries would be scared to alienate the West by turning away from Western political ethos in the past, they're less so inclined to do so. They're less inclined to do so in the future, and so basically, I think that to boil it down in simple terms, if the military can get away with it, they will get away with it, and I think that neighboring countries in similar situations might try something, try something the same themselves.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Zach. It's been really interesting to hear about the upcoming Thai election and the impact that it may have geopolitically in the region and internationally. To our readers, if you want to learn more about this and other topics, check out our website at Geopoliticalmonitor.com. And we'll talk to you next time, continuing our series looking at important international upcoming elections.